Welcome to this edition of Running Back by Committee here on Fantasy Focus, brought to you by the original Hooters. I'm Derek Tate alongside Matty B and Ryan Levy as we attempt to break down the backfield of the New England Patriots heading into the 2020 NFL season. So we know over the last 5 seasons that James White has caught at least 40 or more balls. Last year, we saw Sony Michel see over 240 carries. But the big question mark in New England is that Tom Brady's no longer in town. So what the hell do we expect from any of these skill position players for the Patriots? Levy, I'll throw it to you first. No more Brady balls. So what the hell does that mean for this backfield?
You boys know I love me some Brady ball. So as a diehard Buccaneers fan, I am beyond excited to have Brady in the Bay. But obviously we're here to talk about the Pats. And I love a good workload. So Sony Michel, albeit it's not sexy, 247 carries last year. Good for the number 31 ranked PPR back. Currently going in the 7th round. If you're telling me I can get a guy in the 7th round, that's pretty much a lock for 225 plus carries. I'll take that all day as my RB3, RB4 in most leagues because I draft heavy on running backs with a couple receivers slipped in there. But I mean, they weren't great last year on the ground. They weren't all that efficient, right? I mean, they were number 18 in the league, 106 yards per game. I mean, the line didn't get much better, if at all. They spent 2 6th-round picks, a 7th-round pick, brought in Dustin Woodward, drafted a couple good tight ends as well, but nothing really to be excited about in terms of the line getting much better, in my opinion. So Sony Michel, I'll take a shot on him in the 7th round if that's where he's going to continue to go. But James White in PPR formats, we don't know without Brady if he's going to continue to be that good. There's just no way to tell. So for James White, a guy that finished as the number 18 PPR back last year, I'm not excited about it. I'm not going to be drafting Jimmy White by any means. I mentioned it earlier in a regular podcast episode. I will take a dart throw on Damien Harris. I know he didn't do anything last year, got no opportunity. I believe he only had 4 carries, but he's the guy I got my eye on if Sony Michel continues to not be explosive.
Yeah, the thing that hampers Sony Michel's value is that he was unable to produce the requisite output on those carries to really turn him into, you mentioned number 31 last year, to turn him into a top 20 legitimate RB2 back at this stage in his career, which is disappointing. However, I'm with you. I will still draft Sony Michel, and I will say I will still draft James White because the offense will change, but the dynamics of it won't. Meaning we know the players on the chessboard aside from quarterback, and I think they're going to just go with what works, and what works is James White in space, James White on option routes. I think James White is still going to have a good year. Brady good years? No. So if you're telling me I get to the 8th round, I have an opportunity to choose between Sony Michel, James White, it's Sony Michel first for me. But people are very down on James White, and I think he's just a very good player that will still get his opportunities through the air, through the passing game, regardless of who's playing quarterback for him. So I like both players, but the thing is, it's going to be a huge running back by committee. They still have Rex Burkhead. I do believe that Damien Harris gets more involved this year as well. So I think they will be focused on running the football with that in mind. Sony Michel for me is still a go for my fantasy options, whether that's a flex spot or some depth at the running back position. I think I will have Sony Michel rostered. I will have him rostered this year.
So let me just start by saying the ADP for all these players, there's nothing wrong with taking a share of any of them. None of them are overpriced. For a guy like Sony Michel that saw, over 200 total touches, for you to have the availability to get him in like the 7th or 8th round, that is more than a return on your investment at the running back spot. Totally worth throwing a flyer on. The problem is he wasn't incredible. He's not going to give you anything in the passing game. 0. And this team actually attempted inside the top 10. They were 9th in total rushing attempts without the addition of like a mobile quarterback to add to those rushing attempt totals. So clearly they tried to play small ball, lean on their solid defense, and then, grind up and chew up the clock. and play small ball and pick up wins. The problem is we don't know what Stidham's going to give us. And for that reason, it's hard to feel really good about any of these guys, even and in particular, Buckey James White. I mean, we know that he's had a clearly defined role with Brady under center. But even if he still is just as effective of a player, we don't know what efficiency we're going to get from Jarrett Stidham under center. I don't even feel confident saying he's going to catch 40 balls this year, man. I mean, we still saw that. I mean, what? Rex Burkhead saw like 90 total touches from scrimmage last year, and that was with Damien Harris not even getting any sort of looks whatsoever. I mean, yes, he's a deep PPR flex option, but I definitely don't feel confident he's going to finish inside the top 25 in PPR formats, which if he doesn't do that, then what's his value?
Well, you mentioned you don't know what to expect out of Stidham. I can tell you this. You can expect some Stid and some ham.
Love ham.
Ham steak.
Is that his new nickname?
Stid ham steak?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I'm with you, Tate. I totally get it. But the thing is, I think James White is a top 5 pass catching back in the NFL. He's that good at that job. When you have a player who's that good at that I have a particular set of skills. You use them. You Liam Neeson that shit, and that's what's going to go down there, regardless of who's playing quarterback. It'll be a ding to his production, there's no doubt, because Brady does it better than anyone in the game, which is the one thing that scares the crap out of me in Tampa is which running back is going to catch the football?
None of them.
Keyshawn Vaughn.
It needs to be Keyshawn Vaughn, and that's why we stay with Keyshawn. But yeah, it's a muddled mess. I mean, this is, that what was the show? Party of 4, Party of 5.
5.
Yeah. Sorry. That was a great show, man.
Don't forget about Brandon Bolden.
Jennifer Love Hewitt, Jessica Biel, Party of 5, except replace Jessica Biel and Jennifer Love Hewitt with James White and Sony Michel.
Rex Burkhead.
Yeah, Rex Burkhead's in there.
I actually really want to take a dart throw on Damien Harris in a lot of spots.
Yes. Thank you.
In the small sample size that we got from him in preseason, I thought that he showed some nice little burst and juice, more so than what I've seen from Sony Michel throughout his entire career, which is weird because that's not what I saw at the University of Georgia, but I digress. So, I mean, if you're telling me that, the backfield looks the same, then they're all worth a stab at their current ADP.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
I just don't feel confident in any of these guys.
I also don't feel confident that Jessica Biel was in Party of 5.
Buck?
Look,
my wife just screamed in the background. She was not. That was Nev Campbell.
Oh, it was Nev Campbell. Yeah, she was like the parent type sister. I was really trying to turn this into Buck's fantasy world here. Yeah.
Buck's Fantasy 5.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and have a Party of 5 later. Don't worry about it.
So that'll do it for this episode of Running Back by Committee. Look, sound off in the comments. Help us try to dissect this backfield of the New England Patriots, as they have always been a problem, even with Brady under center. But now with Stidham Hamsteak Stidham?
Yeah, Jared Stid Hamsteak.
Jarrett Stid Hamsteak under center. Let us know who the running back to own is. Do you think Damien Harris has any sort of role as like a very, very late sleeper? Does Sony Michel even see 200 carries this year? Give us your thoughts down in the comments as we break down every single backfield heading into the 2020 NFL season here on Fantasy Focused. If this is your first time coming across our channel, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, later. Says the tape.
Go ahead and stream Party 5. Its numbers have not been great as of late, so I'm sure they can use all the royalties they can get. Goodbye and good night.
See ya.